Okay, now that that's done, you watched us set up a makeshift paint booth. So I have this plastic on 3 sides. Today is not the optimal day to be doing this, but I got to do it today because the rest of the week it's going to rain. So today the goal is to get primer on both sides of the doors and drawer faces, caulk anything that needs to be caulked, maybe hopefully do a light sanding, and we'll repeat the process. But I think maybe tomorrow it's supposed to rain and the rest of the week, so my paint booth might get smaller. It is 9:52 in the morning. It's 84 degrees right now with it feels like 95. And the humidity is 80%. It's not the ideal time to be painting. I get that, but I have to do it because otherwise it's next week. And we got 50 cases, 52? We have 52 cases of tile coming that I need to put somewhere. And so I need to put them in the garage. And so I need to get this part of the process done. So we're going to spray them here. Actually, Shelly is out back. She is going to walk them through the house because that's where they are now. She's going to blow them off with the air compressor, wipe them down, make sure they're clean. She's going to bring them in, I'm going to paint them, and then she's going to walk them back into the house where they're actually dry. They're not going to dry out here, I'm just spraying them out here. So they're going to spend very little time outside. Hopefully it doesn't affect how it takes paint, but this is our process and this is what we're going to do. So let's get started. Well, trying to paint in the garage didn't last long. The turbine heats up and it puts hot air through the hose to the nozzle, which caused the tip to gum up frequently. This made us move our priming operation to the sunroom, which had yet to be finished. The first few days we were only able to prime one side of the doors and drawer faces. Who knew this was going to take so long? Day 2 came and went while we primed the other side of the doors and drawer faces. It rained and hailed while we were caulking the doors, but Duke and Tucker enjoyed the cooler weather. In between coats of primer, we ran a small bead of caulk to hide the joints on the front side of the doors. We put 2 coats of primer on each side with a light sanding in between. We used 220 on the first pass and 400 grit on the second pass. Day 4 saw us putting the first coat of Lagoon Moss on the prime sides of the doors and drawer faces. Shelly made the process go quickly by continuing to get the finished piece from me, placing that on the drying rack, and giving me the next piece to be painted. Our makeshift paint booth got more reinforcement as we went along with the help of some old bed sheets we hung to prevent overspray getting into the kitchen and onto some of the finished surfaces in there. I had a fan in the dining room blowing the overspray out the windows of the sunroom, which I left open slightly. It seemed to work well. We wound up putting 2 coats of primer and 2 coats of the Lagoon Moss color on both sides. We noticed that the doors and drawers would stick to the drying rack even though we let 24 hours pass in between coats. There was one exception to this process, and that being the last coat. We let the front sides dry in the rack face up for 3 days before pulling them off and spraying the back sides one final time. Even after that, we still had some places that we had to touch up, but the doors and drawer faces were done. Okay, today we are actually going to start taking down these cabinet doors and drawer faces, the old ones. We're going to do some touch-up work to some of the insides of them where maybe some of the paint is chipped off, putting a glass or a bowl or a dish or whatever up on the shelf. We're going to wipe everything down, probably get everything for tape off. So I guess today is a day of like cleaning and prep work for spraying the actual exterior of the cabinets that are up there and getting them ready for the doors and the drawer faces that we have painted. So here comes a time lapse of just taking off doors, drawer faces, and hardware. I'm standing in this beautiful plastic sheeting tent that Shelly made. She's on the other side of that right now, mixing up my paint, as you could tell. And we are actually gonna try an attempt to prime these cabinets. If you've never taped off a kitchen like this before,
Don't do it.
Shelly said don't do it. Just go with a brush or a roller or something. It's a lot to tape off. And I won't lie, there are some spots in here that I'm expecting once the air from the gun hits, it's probably gonna blow a hole right through it. Tape's gonna come off. Confidence is not high in regards to how this got taped off, but I have nobody to blame but myself. I can't blame Shelly, she's on the other side. Wait. Yeah, see, she waved. There you go. Yeah, that's what we're gonna do. This is, you guys here, just look up. Just look up. She's got this cool tent thing working here.
Ran out of plastic.
We did run out of plastic. You know what the most expensive part of this whole remodel has been?
Tape.
Tape, yeah. Dead gum. All this blue tape. Yep. All right, I'm gonna set up my little action cam. I'll leave that in here. I'm gonna take my big camera out because it's had enough beating. And we're gonna get started here. Right, Shelly?
Yeah, I'm ready. You ready?
Is this gonna be fun?
It's gonna be something.
Something's coming out.